Today's lesson is about angles of elevation and depression. Okay, can you please copy this diagram into your workbook? This is an angle of elevation. So angle of elevation is when we're looking up at something. Think about when you're in an elevator, you're going up. So this part here, looking up, that is my angle of elevation. The angle of depression is when you're looking down at something. So when you think about it, if you're feeling depressed, you're feeling really down. So this here, looking down, this is the angle of depression. So can you please copy this diagram as well into your book? Angles of elevation and depression are measured from the horizontal. So what that means is if there was a person here and they're looking up at the sun. So they're looking up, so it's going to be an angle of elevation, but it's measured from the horizontal. So this is the horizontal going straight across. So that is the angle of elevation. It's measured from that horizontal. Or if there was someone standing on top of a building, they're not about to jump, don't worry, they're just looking down on the ground where there is a flower. So they're looking down, so it's our angle of depression, and it's measured from the horizontal, so it's measured from a horizontal line going across. So like this, I measure it from there going down. From there going down. So this is the angle of depression. On the same diagram, the angle of elevation and the angle of depression are equal. So that just means that they're the same. So this angle here is the same as this angle here. That's because, if you remember from geometry, alternate angles like this are equal. These are the steps for questions with angles of elevation and depression. First, you draw a diagram with the given information. Next, use SO, KA, TOA, which I hope you remember from last term, and then you can solve for the unknown side or angle. When drawing diagrams, they often talk about from the base, and every year students are like, what does that mean? So basically, if I said there was a tree and something was measured from the base is like the bottom. So this here, this red part, that is from the base. I'll do two examples. The angle of elevation of the top of a tower from a point on the ground 30 meters away from the base of a tower is 28 degrees. Find the height of the tower. Alright, so we've got a tower. And then there's a point on the ground 30 meters from the base. So 30 meters from the base, there's like a point on the ground here. And looking up from this point to the top of the tower, the angle of elevation there is 28 degrees. And we're trying to find the height of the tower. So I'll call that x. Okay, so now I've got my triangle and I can use trigonometry to figure out that value of x. So the first thing to do is label the triangle. If I put my finger on the angle, I won't touch the opposite side, so this is O. Nothing on the hypotenuse, so don't label it, and this is A. Then I need to decide SO, KA, or TOA. Yep, it's going to be tan TOA. Write out the formula. Then substitute in the values. So we've got The angle is 28 degrees. The opposite side is x. The side marked A is 30. And now I can solve. So I multiply this 30 to the other side. So I'll have 30 times 10, 28 equals x. Pop that in the calculator, which will give me 15.95 equals x. So that's the height of the tower. Last example. From the top of the vertical cliff, Andrea spots a boat out to sea. So she's at the top of a cliff and she spotted a boat out to sea. If the top of the cliff is 42 meters above sea level, so this distance here of the cliff is 42 meters high, and the boat is 90 meters away from the base of the cliff, so that's along the bottom here, is 90 meters. Find Andrea's angle of depression to the boat to the nearest degree. So remember, this is the angle of depression looking down, and it's from the horizontal. So this is the angle of depression. Now that's actually outside our triangle, but remember, if they're on, if the angle of elevation and depression are on the same diagram, they are equal. So that angle there is actually the same as this angle here. So now I've got my triangle. So I'm going to just redraw that out. So I've got on the bottom 90, on the side 42, and this is the angle I'm trying to figure out here. So I can now just use trigonometry like normal. So my first step is to label the triangle. So put my finger on the angle. I've got my opposite side and my adjacent side. So O&A, I'm going to use tan. This time we're trying to find the angle. Remember, when finding angles, I need to do the inverse. So I need to press shift first on the calculator. O divided by A. So I'll have tan negative 1, O is 42, A is 90. Pop that into the calculator and you should get 25 degrees. So that's the angle of depression from Andrea to the boat. There's a worksheet to do today